Hey everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to my channel. I have a huge project that we're doing today. So this is a 3x4 foot sign. This is using acrylic from Cerulean Tides. Part of it is acrylic that I custom ordered and part of it is acrylic that I cut using my Glowforge. So in this video, I'm going to be assembling this and showing you how I use the pass-through function to create stencils to put this in the right spot. So this is the logo we're working with. So I am working on this for a customer who thankfully also designs. They do vinyl cutting, but because we're doing this on Glowforge and we're doing it with acrylic, it was with outside of what she was able to do. But the benefit is that this is to the dimensions that it needs to be. And you'll see that my workspace is set up to 48 inches by 36 inches, and that is the size of the piece of acrylic that I have. So this is actually set up exactly where it needs to be. So all I really need to do is break it apart and start nesting for my letters here. I'm not going to cut my letters exactly like this. We're going to use the nest feature to make it work, and then I will be using pass-through with a big piece of cardboard for my alignment. With the cost of acrylic and the cost of lumber going up, I want to be as efficient as possible with my materials. So I went and ungrouped it once, and you can see we have our words right here and our line here. So this text here is going to be gray, so I'm going to change the colors as I go. So here's gray, and then this will be pink. And then let me find a cute pink. Okay, now this is going to have a pink background with gray letters. So here's the hard part right now is that our letters are set up in the same item. So I'm going to right click, ungroup, let's see. So there's our background, and then there's our S. So I'm going to hold down shift, grab S, P, A, I think I got it. There you go. Oh, it was grouped together. Right, so now let's change this over to gray. Good, okay, so we still need to do this. Let's turn that to gray. And now we can grab these two circles here and change that to pink. Now this doesn't affect the cutting in any way, but it does make it easier on me. So I'm going to right click and group that. Okay, so now we're all ready for this. So I am going to make a copy of this, and paste this into a new document because I still want to use this for something else, but I need to set this up for nesting. So we're going to take this entire design, move it over, and now I'm going to set up my workspace. So I'm going to turn off my cutting mat, none, and I am going to do my material at a width of 11.5 just to give myself a little bit of space for my acrylic, and then I'm going to do my height at 18. So I have 18 by 11.5 acrylic sheets from Cerulean Tides. I'll link it below for you. And so now I'm going to take this text right here, right click, ungroup. Now you can see all of our letters are right here. I'm going to grab all of this, go down to the bottom to this little arrow, and I want nesting. Okay, so I'm going to use the cut area, and I'm going to select that. We're going to increase our padding a little bit to 10. And then I'm going to increase my rotations, meaning that they can rotate it as many times as they need to get it to fit. So let's nest. So let me just make sure A-E-S-T-H-E-T-I-I-C. S, perfect. So it's all nested in there. That's all I need. So now I can probably fit more within that piece of acrylic. So let's just bring that S in there. Let's ungroup this P and A and put that in there. So I'm just going to manually put these in to make it fit better. And then the A I can probably rotate and fit right inside that S. I'm just trying to make it fit as much as possible. Oh, I keep letting it go. So let's bring that in here. And here is my little line. That can go anywhere. Alright, so now we can see what we can fit with this text too. So let's go ahead and ungroup it. Oops. And I'm just manually going to try to put as much of this as possible. Now you can keep nesting, but I find that it gets kind of messy and it slows down your machine. So I wanted to nest the important word, like letters up there, and then just set it up like this. So let's rotate this a little bit. Fit it in there. And then let's turn this R a little bit. Right? So I'm just going to set it up like this. I want to make sure I'm safe with my acrylic. So I'm going to grab all of this right here, go to File, Save Selection, Save to Hard Drive, and I'm going to choose this as an SVG, and then I'll be right back and I'll set up this next one. Alrighty, so that is saved. I'm going to move this to the side, grab my Sarasota, bring it over here, and now I'm literally going to use the same settings and nest it. Perfect. So this won't use a lot of space at all, which is great. It gives me a little bit of a buffer in case I get my settings wrong somehow. So save selection, save to hard drive. All right, so here's the circle. Now all I need to do is I need to just save that as SVG. This line I got as a custom cut from Cerulean Tides. So Amanda at Cerulean Tides was so awesome. She custom cut the large piece of frosted that we're going to attach this to, and then she went and custom cut this long line for me. So all I have to do is save this pink. So I'm just going to save selection and go. Alright guys, I am in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to be setting up my templates to line up my design. I'm going to be using cardboard for this. I just saved boxes as I go, and I have a really nice box that a plant stand came in that will be perfect. Now you can use different methods to set it up, but since I have a large box, I'm going to set it up with that in mind. So I'm going to do my templates, but then I'm also going to show you how I'm going to line up these letters right here. So first thing is I'm just going to draw a box. Now I'm going to manually put in my dimensions. So I'm going to have this 48 inches wide, and then I'm going to make it about 15 inches tall. So the first thing I'll do is I'm going to set it up right at the edge of my workspace. The way that I am going to align this is that I want the bottom of my box to be exactly at the bottom of this design so that I know how to set it up. And I don't want it to be too wide, so I'm going to just have it overlap these bottom letters here. We'll still be able to align it. Now let me fill this in so you can see. So let me do a different color. Alright, so I'm going to take this, bring it all the way to the back, and then I'm going to make sure my design is grouped. So you can see if I select my design, the entire thing's grouped. So now I can take both of these, and I'm already in my modify panel, you can see over here on the right. And so we are just going to do a subtract all, not a subtract. The subtract will take away the design on the top. We're going to subtract all, which is only going to take away the bottom here. So let's do that. It looks like nothing happened, but there you go. So this is my first cut. We're going to set it up right here. And then this design is about 3 feet. So I am going to set up a vertical guide. So let's make this 12 inches wide. We don't need it to be too big. And then we're going to make this 36 inches. We can even make it shorter, honestly, because we have the Sarasota and the Premier in there. We're just trying to line up this circle. So I am actually going to take this and bring it down to align with this line here so I don't have to feed as much through. And then line that up with the top. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit so we have more of a buffer. And let's fill this in. Let's do our green again. Send it to the back, right here. And same process, let's grab both of these, subtract all, and you have it like this. Right, so we have this right here. We don't have to keep everything in there, so let's go ahead and take the fill out. And so what I need is this outside line, and then these letters here. I don't even need this bottom bar because this will align right with my line. So we're just going to release compound path, or let's ungroup first. Alright, so we have our ungroup done, so we're going to delete that. and then everything inside that circle. So my quick way to do that is I'm going to grab everything like this, hold down shift, grab this outside one that I want to keep, and that outside circle, and now I can delete. Now everything in there is set. The only other thing that we need to make sure is we need to just keep all this together again. So you can see all of that set. I'm going to grab this entire design, right click, and make compound path. Okay, so now let me fill it in so you can see that's our guide there. Now keep in mind, just a little thing about using Glowforge software. If you're engraving, you would have to subtract these through. Making compound path would actually not work. And I'll do another video on that later. All right, so here are our two guides. And then I just need to make one more guide for this. So I'm going to grab this, right click, ungroup, select this. And so what I need to do is I need to cut out basically this design, but I need the letters to be in there too. So I'm going to hold down shift, click on the gray here, Control G to group it, and now I can grab it, hold down shift, click on this back one, and subtract. We don't need to keep that. Now this one's all set. Just do Control G, group, and now we're ready to export our templates. So I'm just going to grab each of these, and I'm going to do File, Save Selection, and name each one for the templates that we have in there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to turn on my Glowforge, and we're going to start setting up to do some pass-through. All right, so sorry about the weird camera angles. It just kind of happens. I have a small space for pass-through. So here is my box. This is from a plant stand that I got from Aldi the other week. And thankfully I still had it in my garage, and it's going to be the perfect size to make my guides. So first things first, I'm going to get rid of this tape, and we're essentially just going to break this box down. Okay, so now we just need to make sure we have the right size for this. Yep, this will be good. Let's just kind of bring that down a little bit. And this will be a good size for the bottom one. So literally just gonna use my scissors and cut it down. All right, so that is our piece. So I'm gonna move my camera so you can see how I feed this in, and then I'll show you in my software how I set up my design. All right, so here's my cardboard. So with pass-through, you feed it in from the back first. So we're going to go into our pass-through slot. It's going to give us a little bit of trouble because we have that lip. So you can see I just moved my arm. So I'm going to turn off my machine because I don't want to move it while it's on. Pop that back down and go from here. So when you do this, keep your machine off when you start it. Okay, so now I tucked in my edges right here. Now I'm good to turn this back on, close my lid, and then we're all set there. Okay, so you can see right here as I'm going, I already cut my template here. I just set it up like that. So I'm gonna grab all of this in here, delete it. This is my test square. I can delete that now too. And I'm going to start uploading my SVG files. So I'm going to do my bottom one first. So bottom template, open that, and then we are also going to turn on Pro Pass-Through right here. So you can see when you turn on Pro Pass-Through, your view changes. And now I can take my design, I'm going to rotate it using this little arrow. Oops, that's too much. Let's zoom out. Okay, so we're going to turn on Pro Pass-Through. And let's rotate this design. There's my rotate button. I'm holding down shift so it rotates in 45-degree increments. All right, so we're all set there. And now before I do anything else, I'm going to take the 3 dots, set my focus to the cardboard. That way it gets the height correct. Okay, so now we can adjust it. Let's go ahead, bring this over. I want to make sure it stays on my cardboard. Oh, I should enter my settings. I was wondering why it wasn't working. All right, so now we'll do our cardboard settings. I test cut a bunch, so make sure you keep test cutting. But we're going to cut this, and then right now I'm using my speed at 180 and 90 for my power. And these little pieces kind of got stuck in there because it wasn't grouped. We can just leave it. All right, so I'm going to nudge this down as much as I can, just because I want to maximize my space, and now I'm ready to print. So this is going to prepare it. It's going to take a couple stages. You know, we're doing a big job here. All right, so this will take 2 minutes for this one. All right, so you'll see we're taking pictures. Don't move anything, just let this go. So the thing that surprised me about Passthrough is that it takes a lot longer than I thought. All right, so now we're gonna shift it forward about 8 inches. The top should be about 3 inches from the bottom. So we're just gonna keep feeding. That should be good. So now let's go ahead and continue. Now this is going to align it for me. Okay, you can see the alignment. Now check this out. Sometimes it looks off. Just trust what Glowforge is doing. So we're going to go ahead and continue. Just going to set up my next print. All right, so we have 1 minute on this. All right, so you can see it's going to take pictures now, and it's going to repeat the process. So I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to commentary the rest of this, and I'll see you when we're done with this cut. Okay, we're all done. So you'll notice that it's not like cut through all the way. That happens. This is coated, so we might need to just pop it out. It's really not a big deal because it pops out really easily. So it's not like wood where if it doesn't cut through all the way, it's, you know, not great. I'm literally just going to rip it off. It's almost like perforating it. Just pick that up later. Now this start to finish took about an hour. It probably would take would have been a little shorter had I not had those alignment issues at the beginning. And again, that's the hour from setting up my design. So something of this size, it does take a little bit of time because it's like 5 or 6 minutes for each alignment. So we'll, you know, keep that in mind. Like the bigger signs you do are beautiful, but do factor in the time it takes to do that. So we're just taking that up. Okay, so this is how it's going to align. This will go right on the bottom. And now I can pop out these other parts. And this one we do want to make sure we get that cardboard out because we're going to put the 3M down, and so we want to make sure we're not getting cardboard down underneath our acrylic. All right, so here is the board. Now I did have to pop these out. You know, it's kind of a trade-off. So if you don't want to pop these out, you do run the risk of all these little pieces kind of coming loose as you're sliding your pass through. So for me, it worked out. Now, if you're doing wood, you want to reevaluate it. So make sure you're testing your settings, make sure you're getting good cuts. But that's that. I'm gonna go ahead and set up my second one, and then I'll see you when I start assembling. Okay, so I have my cardboard template cut right here, and I cut all of the pieces using my Glowforge, and they're backed with 3M. So essentially we're doing like a puzzle. So the first thing that I want to do is I need to line up my letters on this circle that's going on the side. So I cut this cardboard template to be the same size as it, and I will be taping it on. So basically line it up. And I'm just using painter's tape. You guys know I use this for everything. And we're gonna painter's tape that on there. And this next part's super easy. Okay, so we have our guide right there. I'm going to keep the masking on as long as possible. And so first I'll peel this 3M. I ordered a big roll of it from Tape Case. But I also have some that you can buy on Amazon. I'll link it in the description for you. Okay, so there's that. And it'll fit right into this template. Push down. Cool. So now we're just going to do the next ones. Just peeling off the 3M. So I cut this acrylic on my Glowforge with the 3M on it. So I put the 3M on the sheet, and I actually mirrored my entire design and cut with the 3M side facing up. So that made sure that I was actually cutting through it. I've had issues where I put 3M on the bottom and it doesn't cut through the very bottom. And when it doesn't cut through the 3M, then like, what's the point, right? Right, so there's my gray. So we're placing it on there. And now this is a really tiny piece. We're gonna peel this one off. And place it right in there. And for the rest of the side, I'm just going to leave the masking on, but for the first one, so you can see, I'll peel this off so you can see what it'll look like. So I got my acrylic from Cerulean Tides. I think I've mentioned it before. What I like about getting it from there is that the majority of your acrylic will come paper masked, so it's super easy to just put it in your machine and go. And so that helps get cleaner cuts, and it also helps prevent getting flashback, and that's where your laser kind of hits the bottom of your chrome tray and it singes the back of your material. So it helps prevent all of that. All right, so this is the last one. All right. So we'll just peel our tape off. We're gonna keep the rest of these pieces though, because I'm gonna use it for my big alignment. So there we go. That's the first part. So I'll be right back with the big sign, and we're gonna start aligning everything on the big sign. So here's my piece of acrylic. Now this is frosted acrylic from Cerulean Tides. I special ordered this. So that's something that's really cool that they do, is that you can special order a certain size, and they put holes in the corners for my standoffs. So all I have to do is put these on. So here is my piece of cardboard. Remember that I set it up to line up with the bottom. So we're going to line it up right here, set up my corners. This piece is cut just wider than what I have. So I'm just going back and forth to make sure that it's set up in the same spot. And I'm going to bring this down and line up my cardboard with the bottom. So once I have that lined up, like always, I'm gonna use my painter's tape. And before I put it down, I'm just gonna check one more time. So we're good there. And then we'll do it on this side too. Alright, so now it's just peel and stick. So I'm going to fast forward going through this, but it's the same thing, just using my 3M, peeling the backing and placing it on. Alright, so I'm going to take this template off, but I'm still going to hold on to it because I need to put the line in. This line I had custom cut from Cerulean Tides, and I don't have 3M on it, so I will need to glue it, but not right now. Alright, so I'm going to gently lift up this cardboard, making sure I don't have it underneath my acrylic like that eye was, and this E. So we're gently lifting. There we go. Just need to adjust this little A. It shifted on me. No big deal. Just gonna pop it right back in there. Press down hard, and then lift. Cool. So I'm going to, make sure I press down more later, make sure I get it all set. But now I have my preliminary. So now I can take this one, and this guide I won't have to take down at all because it's fitting right in to where it lines up. So now I can grab the ring. You can see it'll fit right here. So I just need to go through and peel off my 3M. Now this is actually 1/8 of an inch. This is cotton candy from Cerulean Tides, and unfortunately it didn't come in a 1/4 inch. So we did 1/8 of an inch and we just stacked it. All right, so now we're gonna set that up. So we have that in there. And now I can use this ring from my guide to figure out my spacing between it. And now here's my center. So now that I have it safely assembled, I'm going to remove this cardboard. I don't need it anymore. And now we can peel off this 3M. Right, so the last step, we're just popping that in there. And then I'm going to use my weeding tool to just pop out this cardboard ring before it somehow gets stuck underneath it. Cool. So now we have that all set. All I need to do is peel off this masking and glue down that line, and then we'll be all set to go. So I'm going to finish that up and I will see you with the finished product. All right guys, here is my final product. I'm super proud of it. This is my biggest project yet. So don't forget, this is custom acrylic from Cerulean Tides. You can use code POTSPERFECT10 to get 10% off your order over $100. And if you're watching this and you're still thinking about getting a Glowforge, check out the link in my description to save $500 on a new machine. And don't forget to like and subscribe.